Okie dokie. Hi. I don't know who joined on. I apologize. I'm kind of I had a little trouble getting the live to cooperate, so I just wanted to make sure I was actually live before I started talking. So I was trying to give you guys a peek at this paper. It looks like somehow I scratched it. But anyway, good morning if you can see me from my reflection. Okay, so today we're going to be playing around with an idea I thought of last week. Actually, I thought of it the week before when we were doing lives, but I thought this would make a really cool card. Let's see what else we have stuck around here. If you're joining me for the first time, welcome. Love to see your comments today. Let's see. Is it giving me the chat option? Where are we? Let's see. Okay. Hi, Adrian, Jean, Karen, Susan, Diana, and Sharon. Thank you guys for joining me today. So what we're going to be doing today is playing around with Tasteful Touches. And I do believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe this is the part that goes with the new brass foil paper, which is really, really pretty. Apologize, I'm still cleaning up my mess from the other day. Oh, that was the card. In case you missed it, these are the two cards we created the other day. They were really, really pretty. So I think the nice part about this Tasteful Touches suite, it has an amazing set of dies that go along with it. You can see these here. Lots of dies, really nice sentiments. I love the fonts that go with them. Really, really pretty. I love the whiskey set too. This one, if you guys remembered, or if you missed it the other day, I did this on Facebook. I did post it to YouTube, but we embossed it clear, so it's really pretty. And then this one was another case out of the catalog. We made this as a kind of simple card, added a little piece of the silver edged, I believe it's 3/8 inch ribbon. Can't be right. No, that might be right. So I had this idea the other day that I really wanted to make a card where we used these little cutouts. So basically these circles. And I have a couple ideas, but I'm going to try a few different things just since we have time. And I'm going to clean this off. And I'm hoping, if someone can please let me know, I'm hoping the quality is much better on here. So we're on YouTube Live as opposed to where I've been lately, because I've been having a lot of issues with Facebook. One thing I want to tell you, I did go ahead and cut out some of these. This is the larger. It's a double stitched die because it actually cuts the inside and the outside. So I just got some fun foam. This is probably from like Michael's or something like that. Oh, you know what? I realized I cut this on the wrong side. But anyway, this was just something simple I was using to add some dimension to this. So I'm going to play around with it. And then after I did that, I kind of thought, and I'll show you where I pulled this from here. So what I did was I cut 3 circles just kind of as a starting point. And then I went back and kind of added a few extra things, and you'll see that in a moment. So you can see I just cut 3 circles out of this piece of DSP. So this is the Forever Fern. I believe that's what it's called. Make sure I'm telling you correctly. The Forever Greenery DSP. I believe Forever Fern is a different part. So I cut these out. And then I got the bright idea that maybe we could layer the smaller die because there is another die. So I kind of cut some stuff ahead of time, but I didn't really finish anything with it. I thought I would save it. So these two actually nest together pretty well. So this is cut from the brass foil. Now, one thing to note, I didn't line that up very well, but you could always layer this onto something here. And then we could put a sentiment, could layer this in the middle. We could also, I did the same thing with, I stamped the feather and then double die cut them together. I cut some foam that we could layer on the back. And then these are these pieces here. And then I just cut some white ones. So I kind of figured what we could do is we could kind of play around and make a couple cards. So maybe some of you have the 6x6 paper share that I did for this. So if that's the case, what I'll do is this piece used a piece that was 4 by 5 1/4. So if you have a 6x6 square, you could cut one of the pieces down to 4 inches and you could cut it up. So that would be pretty simple. The great part about this specific paper is both sides are very, very pretty. So it's kind of hard to choose, but I will say what they did on the background was really nice. So they put a really beautiful side, and then the other side is very complimentary. So I feel like I could avoid using both of these papers because these are so gorgeous. So anyway, we'll kind of work with a couple different things today. Now, the one I think exception is this. This is beautiful, and I love these stripes. And typically I'm kind of like, well, you know, I could take or leave the stripes, but I love both sides of this paper. This is one of my favorites. I also really like the smaller leaves. They're really pretty. And this one's a nice side as well, but I think I still would go with a little bit smaller. So I think a lot of the portions of this suite are very interchangeable, which is really nice. This one is another one. I love the succulents. But we have a lot of pieces that I feel like they really can go together pretty smoothly, even though these aren't necessarily from the same bundle. So let me pull this out for you real quick. One other thing while I'm getting this set up, the bonus days started on July the 1st and they run through August 3rd. And then you can redeem your bonus days coupons from August 4th through the 31st, which is just in time for the catalog, the new holiday catalog, which if you are a customer of mine, I will mail you one. So I think that's pretty nice. So we have Forever Greenery. So I did not purchase this set. And I thought it was really, really pretty, and I really, really liked it a lot, but I thought there would be a ton of people. So instead, what I did was I got the paper, and I got the ribbon, which I absolutely love. But instead of pairing it with that, I paired it with the Tasteful Textures because I thought those two would go together really, really nicely. And unfortunately, in my other book that I believe is downstairs, yeah, that one is the one that has everything tagged. So this is the Tasteful Textures, which is the stamp set. But it goes with the In Good Taste. Now this goes with that gorgeous paper we used the other day. So just in case you missed it, so 122, it's kind of in a new section. I don't know if it's necessarily new, but they're calling this Artistic Expression. So if you'll notice here, it has this little cinnamon cider tab. So all these things kind of can let you make something out of them. I did this one. Oh, I have a great blog hop later on today. So follow me on Rachthestamper.com. I did a blog hop for Kylie Bertucci's. It's like a challenge blog, so you get to vote on them. So that will go live, I believe it's today at 6 o'clock. So if you're subscribed to my blog, you'll get a notice. But I did a very cool take on this card here. This is another stamp set that I absolutely love. But basically, these kind of open the door for you to make lots of different stuff out of them in all this section here. Got this one too. I love that stamp set. But I really like all of the different textures that are in this In Good Taste suite. And I really think these two are pretty interchangeable. So you can see, nice fonts, got a mix of script and a nice bold print. So here's what we're going to do. Hopefully, because you know, I'm doing this live. I haven't made one before, so we'll see what it turns out like. I did get a piece of shaded spruce, 4 1/4 by 11, so I still have to score this. Let me move. I did not wet my chamois, so I had to dig to the bottom for one of them. But what we're going to do is we're going to try layering this, and then we can even try a different piece. We can add some ribbon into it. I'm really not sure what we're going to do. We might kind of mix and match some of these together. I might end up restamping some of these and cutting them out, but I'm going to grab a piece of, unless I have one here. Nope. I'm going to grab a scrap piece of Whisper White. We're also going to have one for the inside. So a few of those. I usually, in case you guys have never done this before, so this is just a tip on me trying to be a little bit more prepared. So we have these really nice 6x8 cello bags. 102210. They're really nice. I put all of my club projects in these, but this one you can see is a little torn. So what I do is I actually cut a big stack of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, or I'll do 4 by 5 1/4, and I just put these in. That way when I need a piece, you can see I need to cut them. I have a whole stack of layers that are ready to go, so I need to do that again. But these are super handy for organizing these if you are a demonstrator and maybe you do classes. So I put each card in one of these individually. You get 50 in a pack, which I do reuse them. So when I had club class, a lot of times I would let the ladies keep one and they would turn the other 3 in. But when I've been doing them lately with Club Kit to Go, which I will be starting another one soon, I just put one in it. That way everything's separated and it's all nicely separated so they know what goes with what. So I have a piece here. So what I'm thinking is if we have these little circles and then we kind of would need something, I would think almost a little bit square. So what I like to do with the dies is you can kind of move these around and see what fits. You are the best. That one will fit. So we're going to do that. And maybe we'll add a little bit of the feather because I already have that mounted. And we're going to do the words, I believe, in a dark. So we'll do shaded spruce for the words. And then maybe just to bring in a little bit of a different color, soft seafoam is in here, old olive. I think I'm going to go with just jade just for something different. So we'll do the feather and just jade. And we're going to try something out. So I know I have a lot going on here. So I'm going to shift this over a little bit just so we can do a little stamping. So I'll keep one of these panels we'll use for the inside and the other one we'll use for stamping our sentiments. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the greeting first. So if you're new to my channel, oops, and this one's a little goopy. Let me grab my scrap. If you're new to my channel, I am the kind of person who kind of creates things as we go along. A lot of times, depending on watching the comments, sometimes I'll ask people what they think will look the best, and we do stuff that way. So you never know what you're going to get here. Hold on and enjoy the ride. Let's make sure I can get this somewhat centered. Okay, so there's that. We close this one. And then I will do just jade. And I'm just going to throw just a little bit. And I'm going to actually probably stamp this off first. Because it is, this ink is, or this pad is new. So it's a little over inked. So I'm going to show you a trick really quickly. Ooh, where's my magic tool? Oh, it's disappeared. Oh, here it is. So this is my very magic expensive tool. It's a plastic spoon. I use it over and over again. But if you notice that you have a place that's really, really wet, instead of inking it off, what I tend to do is I'll take the spoon and kind of press the ink down a little bit. And I'm going to go over just a slight bit. So what it kind of does is instead of actually removing the ink and then I just wipe this off with a microfiber cloth. I just use this over and over again. Got these at Costco. They're exceptionally reasonable. And then now you should find, let me clean this off and we'll see if I am correct. It shouldn't ink quite as much. And you should get a nicer, yeah, so you can see the detail of this feather much more than the first time when we inked it. So that was the first stamp. This was basically kind of fresh out of the pack because I haven't used my inks too much. So that was first, second, third. But when we move the ink around, that was the first inking. And that looks really, really nice. And you can even see the second inking still looks pretty nice. So if you're getting issues with your ink, maybe give that a try. I'm sure you have a spoon somewhere that you could use. So that's the first. And we'll just put the second. So let me move this. And then what I'm going to do, keep my spoon handy in case I need it, is I'm going to just cut this out with my die. Now, I'm going to use this, but you don't have to. If you have a piece, this is very, very well used purple tape. You can see all the stuff stuck to it. And I kind of just put it to hold it in place. I also use my magnetic platform, but sometimes, depending on if my plates are or aren't warped, sometimes it'll shift a little bit. So I'll just use a little piece of tape to hold it in place. Oh, look at that. See? I found my scrap paper that I couldn't find. So I'm going to put this on here. Now, one little word of advice. I have been trying for some time to just use one as a top plate. So this one I don't cut with. And then this one you can see I do cut with. But I kind of still rotate it because it helps the magnet stick a little better. But one other thing you want to do, so you see this has straight lines and you know the roller is straight. You want to just tilt it just a little bit so it doesn't go through straight because it puts less pressure on. heavens. I don't know. Now YouTube isn't liking me either. Sorry about that. I know there's just an interruption there. So, cool part, hopefully you're all still there, is with this, it actually puts lines on the inside and the outside of the die. So you technically could use both pieces. So if you want to, you can remember that it does embossing on both of them. So that's pretty nice feature about this die. So let's see. We'll move this over. That's so strange. I just don't know what's going on. I don't want to say today in the world because everything's kind of crazy as it is, but just in general with the technology lately. I know it's not just me as a demonstrator because I've noticed lots of other people have been having some glitches with it. So I'm going to go ahead and score this at 5.5. And I really like my Simply Scored. You can make a lot of different projects with it, which is super fun. So it's very useful if you like to do 3D projects. But it's also really useful if you want to score a lot of cardstock and then go back afterwards. And then you can cut it all. So I already die cut, if you remember. We already die cut. So here's one. So I'm just going to set these in so we can figure out what we want to do with this. 2. I know there's one more around here somewhere. 3. Okay, so here are 3 pieces. So first off, I definitely want to pop something up, but I don't exactly know what. So I have a piece of fun foam. You could also use our adhesive sheet because that is double-sided, so you could use either side for that, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to stick this on, and hopefully I can, just going to kind of line this up. For the most part. It's a teeny bit off, but that's okay. So this one's going to pop up. Now, since that one pops up, I think it'll be kind of cool to add a little something to it. So we'll just add this little foil. And again, this is brass. I keep wanting to call it copper, but copper retired. I'm really not sure why. It makes me super sad. I guess copper isn't the it color anymore, but nobody told me. So when you have foil, you can see because of the back, it does tend to wiggle a little bit. So I kind of try to set it where I want it and then just leave it. So there's that one. Then we have another one. And granted, I haven't put any of this together yet. We're still kind of deciding what we're going to do. So you could even put the edging on one if you wanted to. But I think I'm going to leave that off. Maybe we will add something like that. We could add like a partial something to the back of this one. So one of these, I think I'm going to just leave. I feel like I like the popped up look. This one is just slightly misaligned, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. We also have this little where I stamped the feather. So you can see that went through there. I stamped the feather a couple times. We could even add him to that. Could add, where is my copper? I hope that's going to be the same. I almost want to add something. I don't know if that's just a little too much. I don't really love that. I might have to cut this again and line it up a little bit better. This might be neat though if we put this here down at the bottom. I think I'm going to do that. So I think I'm going to add this here. So I feel like this top one, and I have these on the wrong spot. I feel like this top one needs just a little bit of something, but I don't really quite know what. So give me 1 second. Let's see. Oh, you know, we could always one of them so it was opposite. Not sure I love the way that looks. All right, so this one we're going to glue this on, and then we're going to put our sentiment here. Maybe this one. Oh, I have a good idea. Good idea. I'm going to wrap this one, if I can find it. Oh, I wonder if I used all of it already. Hold on, because I know I ordered a second one because that one was such an awesome ribbon. So this is the ribbon that goes with this suite. And I have another one, and I know I have it. Son of a gun, what did I do with it? Might have to improvise here. You know, it's the problem you have when you have too much stuff. You have too much stuff and you don't know where your stuff is. Lord have mercy. I want to get to the ribbon section. So what I was attempting is This one goes with the Forever Greenery, which if you recall, this is the one that actually matches this DSP. It also has this really pretty gold. So it's vanilla is this one, and then gold. This will be really cool wrapped around there. Now, Flowers for Every Season also has something different. You have this interwoven, it's Misty Moonlight, and it has a silver to it. So we could use that. I'm trying to look for something a little gold because clearly that would look super cool. Maybe what I'll do is, we still have this, which even though this is gold and brass, they do match still relatively well, unless you were to hold them like right next to each other, you might be able to tell the difference. So maybe what we'll do is we'll wrap a little bit of a knotted ribbon around this, because I really would like to use that thin ribbon, but for some reason I think I used it all, and maybe my second order didn't come yet. That's what I'm going to go with. Scanning the room and I still don't see it. So okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take my silicone mat, and I'm going to add, still finishing up my fast fuse here, so don't mind me. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to knot a little half knot. Let's see if this works. What I want to do. So I might have to trim this down just a little because I want my knot to be a little bit more centered. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to trim this a little bit only because I don't want you guys to have to suffer the agony of waiting for me to finish this. It's already making me feel a little itchy and I'm not even the one watching. All right, I'm going to trim this down just a smidge. Because I want it to have enough that it will wrap around, but I don't really want it to pull super tight. So just to add like a little something, you can make it a little tighter if you want it a little bit tighter, if you're worried about that popping up. Hey Pam, how are you? Hope you're well. All right. I don't want to pull too much. So we're going to move this over just a smidge. Thank you guys all for joining me today. So it's going to be a slightly askew little partial knot there. Okay, so we have that. We'll add in this one. This still needs a little tiny something on it, but I don't exactly know what I want to add. Maybe some sort of bling. This one is going to get layered onto here, and then we'll add the sentiment. And you know what? This could be just too much. When I get finished with this card, I could say I probably should have taken it down a notch, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm just doing my best to line this up. Again, remember this circle, I didn't layer this correctly, so it's not exactly even. But I'm going to turn it this way. And now that I think about it, let's see. You're not going to really see too much. Turn it this way. And that way we'll have a little bit more of this. So just for this, for the end, I'm actually going to take my shaded spruce Stampin' Right marker. If you don't have a marker, you could do this with your blender pen and dip it in. You could very gently rub it into your ink pad. But I just want to outline it just so there's a little bit of a distinction and it doesn't really get lost. So when we layer this, we'll kind of go with that to the outside. And I think I'm going to pop this up on some dimensionals. Hi, Diana. Thank you to everybody who's popping in here. I want to off-center this just a little because I want a little bit of the color and the circle to shine through. So that's not too off-centered. Okay, so now we're going to lay this down. This still needs something. So remember, we mounted this onto a foam piece, and I didn't exactly do it super accurately because you can see it's a little bit off there, but I'm not going to worry about that. But just be careful when you do it if it's something that concerns you. So now I'm going to take and add some adhesive to the back of this. By the way, Lisa from Crafter Solutions, if you guys haven't followed her yet, she is on Facebook as well. She makes these awesome tipsies. She gave me a bunch of them to give away. So make sure I have this set correctly. So make sure you leave a comment and I will go back and pick 2 winners to give those to. Now, one little disclaimer, they are imperfect, so they might have just the tiniest little something wrong with them. Sometimes they're not as smooth here. This one is imperfect, as a matter of fact. It has like a little tiny chip. You can really barely tell, quite honestly. I've had a couple of them before that have little pieces missing, and they still work pretty well. But make sure, if you haven't already, that you do leave a comment, and I will draw some winners for that. All right, so we're going to put this on. I think I'm going to put this one directly down. I'm just going to add, because it will have a little bit of height with that ribbon. But only thing I want to make sure is that I have my colors lined up correctly. So I'm just going to stick this back in. Fit right in there. Now this one you are going to have to hold just for a second. And like I said, if we had that other ribbon, this could be a little bit more taut, but that's okay. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a glue dot. Yeah, they are pretty awesome. They make lots and lots and lots of really, really cool products. Definitely a super, super wonderful family to support. Lisa's husband has ALS, so he is unfortunately losing a lot of his mobility. However, his mind is still running at, whoops, 5,000%. Knocked my iPad down. I couldn't see my comments. So he does not want to sit still and do nothing. So he started making these projects with his 3D printer. And since then, they have moved on to get multiple other 3D printers. Now look, see what I realized here? This doesn't match because of the side. So this one's going to be odd. This is going to be odd man out, but that's okay. So he's still making all kinds of projects. If you have an idea of something that you think would be a great thing for John to invent, they're always looking for solutions for things. They are solutioning crafters' problems. That's what they do. That's how the whole thing got started. Lisa said to John, I can't get all the glue out of here. So guess what he did? He made her this. Isn't that amazing? So I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the back of the foam because I use the adhesive side to stick the DSP to it. Oh, that's awful. I know. I think ALS is unfortunately one of the worst diseases. It's kind of right along up there with Alzheimer's, because you know the person, a lot of time with Alzheimer's, people are physically healthy, but mentally they're just not there. So I'm going to say this isn't my favorite with what I've done. It's okay, but it wasn't really the idea of what I had envisioned with these circles. So I think what I'm going to do is, I think we're going to try a second one. So I'm actually not going to use my panel for the inside, but we're going to make another card. This will be, if there was like one teenier circle, and you could use the 1/2-inch punch, and you can see I got a little glue happy because it's a little lumpy there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp all over this, and then we're going to use this to cut out some circles and pop them up. And that was the original idea I had. So we're going to try that one instead. So we're going to start from scratch. So here is our first card, even though it's definitely not my favorite. And you can see the foil reflection there. It kind of looks like a black hole when I'm looking at it through the camera, but it's still cute. Definitely not my fave. But so what we're going to do is we're going to make a second card, and maybe this one will be my favorite. You never know. Sometimes when I have my idea in my head and what comes out are two different things. So we'll work and see. We have lots of other things. So we have all different kinds of stuff here. So instead we'll do something. Oops, just got a hair in my ink pad. We'll do something a little different. I'm even going to bring out the flower. Bring this. We're going to just do a whole bunch of different things on this panel. And then we're going to die cut a bunch of them. And I'm going to try my idea version 2.0. I'm just going to hook all these up onto blocks. We have our feather. One more. Okay, so one other thing, in case I didn't tell you this before, which is a great feature. And again, if you were part of my DSP share, this is all listed, but all of the colors that go with the paper are listed on the back. So we have Just Jade already out, and we have Shaded Spruce. So we can also get out Pretty Peacock, because we can use lots of these colors, Pear Pizzazz, Soft Sea Foam, and Garden Green. So Soft Sea Foam, garden green. Quite honestly, I think you could probably even pull a little bit of old olive out of there, but we'll just use those for now. So here's what we're going to do. We have all of these. I'm going to start with the bigger image, which I'm going to go with as the flower, but I think I want to make the flower a little bit different. I'm going to go with Pretty Peacock. Sorry guys, I know you're losing me there. I do apologize. I'm not sure what's going on. So I stamped those 3 flowers. That's what you missed during the whiteout phase. Now I'm going to add in, and I'm not going to re-ink this. So this is Shaded Spruce. We'll just do 3 different. So first, second, and third generation inking. That was Shaded Spruce. Then we will go with, and I do want to wipe this guy off first because I know he had a darker ink. I'm going to go with the Feather with Soft Sea Foam. And we're going to fill this in. Soft Sea Foam is a really exceptionally light color. This is probably one of the few things that I would definitely suggest that every time you stamp, you ink it, because it's very, very light stamping off. You almost can barely see it. So that was Soft Sea Foam. Just Jade we will use for, let's see, what else do we have? Just Jade I'm going to use for this mosaic-y looking thing. But I'm going to stamp this off. Yeah. Okay. And I still have one more stamp, which is, I'm going to go Garden Green. I have this little brick looking something or other. I'm going to bring that in. I mean, it's definitely a very eclectic looking card. I don't know if it's for everybody, but I think it looks pretty cool. Okay, so hopefully without further delay, let me see if I can move all these stamps over and we can finish this up before, I don't know what is going on, something explodes on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my larger and I'm going to take the smaller one as well. Whoops. Well, if I can locate the smaller one, I will take it. If not, we might just be, here it is, using the larger one. So I'm just going to lay these around. I'll just use 2 little pieces of purple tape. So I'm going to kind of move. I'm going to run these through. I'm going to bring it over here. That way you can see me slide it. And I'm going to attempt, when I pick these up, to leave the papers where they are. That way they kind of stay where I want them. I'll put one more over here. I don't even want to move it. And then I'm going to do one more up at the top here. Okay, that one popped out. This one. The reason I said I want to kind of leave them where they are is because I'm afraid if I move them, I won't know exactly where they came from. So we'll put this one here. This one is all done. So I'm going to very, very carefully, so I don't rip anything. Pull this off. That one pulled up the paper just a little bit, but it's okay. All right, so last one is, I might not even need the tape on that. I'm going to pull it off. Last one is that. Okay, now what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm still going to trim this down just a little bit. I'm going to move this whole thing over so you can see what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this onto a base that coordinates with this. So I think I might do Pretty Peacock, but I'm also going to do a layer of black because it really should make it stand out from what we've done. So this will be our base. Luckily, it's already cut, so how convenient is that? And that one almost is cut. So let me grab my trimmer And I'm going to cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. And then I'm going to attempt to do this one without ruining it. Let's see. So let me move this over. I'm going to pick this up. And then I'm going to trim this down. Now, because this one is very close, I might just take 1/8 off of each side. So I'm going to take 1/8 off of this. Just doing my best to line it up there. And I'm going to turn it around and then bring that to the 3 3/4. Ooh, it's super close. Super, super close. So definitely if you're going to do this, I would do it ahead of time. That way you don't cut off any pieces and make any big gaps. Let's see if we can get, yeah, this one's pretty good. So let me just see, this should layer on here pretty nicely. Yep, that looks really, really nice. Okay. So glad that worked out. So we have our little 5 circles here. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to glue this down to our base card. Didn't put enough glue that it's wiggly. That's okay. So glue that down. I think this looks nice the way it is. So I'm going to add some glue to our holy. This is our, my grandfather would say this is our religious card because it's got a lot of holes in it. It's holy. My grandparents also had, well, they still have in their house, as a matter of fact, a life-size Mary. They have a life-size Jesus in the backyard. They really were very religious. Okay, so I'm going to glue this down. Just like so. Okay, now before I go any further, I'm going to try to match these up so I have them in a correct spot. So I think that one goes there. That way when we actually do put these down, hopefully it'll go the way I want. We will see. This one jumped back up with me. Doesn't want to stay on the card. I think that one's there. There. And is that right? One of these is not right, that one. It's got squares. Okay. Now, one other thing I'm going to show you. I'm going to let this sit just for a minute. Where is... Okay, so if you haven't seen these, they're really, really awesome. So they have adhesive on both sides. I'll peel it away. These are adhesive sheets. So you can see they have adhesive on both sides. So I'm going to take one of these, and where's my tiny one? What did I do with it? It's probably underneath of something here. Oh, darn it, Rachel. Here you go. So I'm going to take these two and I'm going to run one of each through. Now, here's one thing. Because you're going to put this underneath of something, you're not going to see it. You technically can put these in together and you will have a line piece. So I'm going to show you with my, just like that, my purple tape. So I'm going to run this through. Now, it will tell you it doesn't stick to this very good because it's not really meant to. So I'm going to run this through. And then if you wanted the full one, you can run that through as well. So let me show you what I mean. So then you got kind of 2 for 1 because you don't really need that whole foam circle. Peel this off. This one pops out. So, and then you'll have one. And where did we have these? So we have one here, one here. So put this on. Now I'm going to try my better to line this up before I put it. And you know what you can do that makes this easier? If you put a little bit of liquid glue on here, it will give you the ability to be able to wiggle it if you need to get those little corners lined up. That looks slightly better. So there's that one, and we'll pop this one here. So this one again is going to just go around the rim, around the edge. Just peel this off. Okay, let's see. I'm going to try to make this line up from the get-go. Oh, that's much better. I did a much better job. I just want to push that. And then the coolest part is, so all you're going to do is make sure this is lined where you think you put it, and then you're going to peel the back off, and you can sit it right in there. Okay, so there's one. Peel this one off. I'm going to make sure I have this lined up correctly. Looks pretty good. Hold on. There we go. So there's that one. And then the rest of these, you could put this up on dimensionals. You could even add just another piece of just a circle that you cut out just to give it a little bit of dimension. So this isn't going to give it a whole lot, but we'll kind of line these up. And then if you had another one from here, you could put behind it. I don't think I have another one cut out. Let's see, cut one out real quick for you. You could even take a few of these if you wanted to, and you could fill them in. Still going. Guys, I am so sorry. I know that has to be massively annoying for this buffering. You could even, if you wanted to kind of change something up, you could put a layer of white there just so it was something different. I wonder if one of these little spots, we might be able to fit our sentiment, because that would kind of look cute. So let's try. This one I'm going to glue down. This one I'm going to put with dimensionals, because dimensionals are a little bit different of a height than the, I know, I'm so sorry. That is so massively annoying. I really do apologize. Dimensionals, foam strips, and the foam adhesive sheets are all a little bit different in height. So if you wanted to, what you could do is you could try fooling around with different ones, and it'll give you different height for different things. You could even sponge some of these to kind of show that they have different heights to them. But I think for this last one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, I think this has to go over one more. I think I'm going to do the sentiment. There we go. I'm going to do the sentiment, and we're going to put the sentiment on that instead. So let's see. I'm wondering if the only thing that might fit in there, though, is "You Are the Best." Yes, definitely. So just to keep with the stitching, to kind of save paper, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stamp it onto the other side, but I'm going to do it in black just so it really stands out. So hopefully this will ink well the first time. There you go. So we'll do that. And then this one, so it's just the reverse side of what we did. We'll just pop that in. Hopefully I even put it on there so it was centered almost correctly. Now this one, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this on 2 dimensionals just to make it stick out more. So we have one, I'm just sticking 2 of them together, removing the adhesive. Okay, now, so to make sure I line this up correctly. Doesn't have to be exact, but okay, this probably could have used one more there and one more there, but I think that looks really cute. One other thing could have totally added to this ahead of time, and obviously it's a little bit late for that now, but we could have put like a panel of ribbon underneath of this before we hooked it together. So say, for example, you had this little strip here, but it was behind this. Underneath of the layer would look really pretty, so you could kind of jazz it up with that. You could add some pearls or some embellishment to this. You can always, you know, it's never too late to add Wink of Stella, so you could certainly add some Wink of Stella to your flowers. But remember, with your Wink of Stella, it does activate your ink, so it kind of acts as a sparkly blender pen. So watch, I'll show you. And actually fills this in really, really nicely. And you could even go back if you wanted to and kind of add a little bit of yellow into here. But it will really fill in. So you can see the difference. This one has none. And this one, it blended the color in and it's sparkly. So it really does a really neat job of making things look really nice and blending them as well. But one thing you have to be careful is, if you were to go from color to color, you want to make sure you clean off your brush, because it will transfer from one to the other. So that's definitely something you have to be aware of. But you can even add a little bit, kind of fill in these little, I don't even know what you would call these little things. This little, it reminds me of something from like a Victorian, like a Victorian fence. I'm going to do a little bit here on the center. So we'll leave the outside white, and we'll color in the center. But lots of different things. Wink of Stella is really pretty cool, especially aside from the fact that it makes everything sparkly. It really is a super nice blender pen. If you don't have one, you have one. So it's a blender pen with sparkles. So I hope you guys like these two cards today. This one definitely isn't my favorite. I don't really like what happened with this whole situation here. And I think what I may end up doing after the fact is either shredding this or doing some more additional doctoring up. But thank you guys so much for sticking with me today through all the glitches. I don't know what is going on with the internet. Can't we even watch cards? I mean, geez a whiz. That's why we're all here, right? That's what was getting us all through the day, is the making of the cards. So again, if you purchase anything right now through August the 3rd, that is $50. Now that is before tax. You can get a $5 coupon to spend August 4th through August 31st, which coincidentally really conveniently coincides with the holiday catalog. Once again, I did order my catalogs, but sadly I did not expedite my order this time. So my stuff still hasn't shipped, so I'm still watching everybody's fun videos and waiting for mine to come. But once it does come, my catalogs are in there, and I will start mailing them out to you all. Do stay tuned, if you don't already, to my Facebook page and my blog. My blog is Rachthestamper.com. You can find everything there, where to find me, where I am, what kind of things I'm participating with. Again, I did say earlier we have a blog hop competition coming up. It's tonight for the United States, but it also means it's like first thing in the morning for Australia. So I would truly appreciate if you stop by there and give me a little heart. That's how you vote to win. And then the winners get to participate in another blog hop, which is super fun. So thank you guys all. I know got tied for 4th place last time, thanks to you all. So thank you guys for doing that. And I do try to put lots of inspiration on my blog. There's also stuff there about shopping specials, about joining specials. So many different things. Also, if you were considering joining my team, which is the Rainbow Stampers, as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you do not have to sell anything. You don't have to have parties or do videos, awkward videos that keep pausing in between. But you do get a discount on everything you purchase, and you can pick anything you'd like out of the catalog, $125 worth of stuff out of any catalog. It can even be out of the holiday catalog right now, which is pretty cool. It ships for just $99. It's free to ship. You get a paper pumpkin. You get some catalogs, lots of cool stuff with that. If you have any questions, you can always send me an email at rachthestamper@gmail.com. And I'm just chatting one more second. Make sure you leave a comment on here. I'm going to give away 2 Tipsies, and I will go draw them as soon as this wraps up. Hopefully that'll go a little bit easier than this did. Thank you guys so very much for watching today. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Just hit the subscribe button. Click the bell. It will turn on notifications every time I'm live, so you don't miss a thing, even though it's glitchy in between. Thank you guys so very much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All goes well here with Facebook. See you guys then. Thanks for watching.